Welcome to my little tutorial, or not so little tutorial, on medicine in the Space Station 13 Colonial Marine server. I want to make this video because there's a lot of new doctors, new nurses, and I've seen a lot of them not get trained and like go on to be doctors and just have no idea what they're doing. So, if you're new or you don't know what you're doing, whether you're new to Space Station 13 or just new to Colonial Marines, I'm going to try to make this guide for you. I'm not really going to go into the super advanced stuff, but I'll teach you the basics of medicine, some tips and tricks. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, your tins down here. You can click on them to cycle them. You can also do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Being tints by the numbers are 1 is help, 2 is a disarm, so you can shove people. 3 is a grab people. 4 is a punch, you can punch people. As a doctor, you want to stay on 1, or sorry, as a doctor, nurse, whatever, you want to stay on 1. Over here is your targeting place, so you can target different parts of the body by clicking on it. You can also use your numpad to target different parts of the body. So 5 is chest, 8 is head, 4 is your right arm. You can press 4 again, target your hand. Same thing works with your head on 8. You can target different parts of your head. 6 is left arm. 6 again is left hand. 3 is your left leg. 3 again is your left foot. Right is 1, and 1 again for your right foot. Very intuitive, it makes a body. And then 2 is your groin. So, we'll just go ahead. That's pretty much all you need to know for that. We'll go ahead and start getting to the medicines. Let me toss these out. If you're wondering how I'm tossing stuff, R is the hotkey. Or you can press this button, but I really recommend just using hotkeys when you can. Let me just get everything out. Thank you, Adobe. Alright, so, your little health analyzer right here. You can click on yourself, or you can click on other people, and it will show you what's wrong with him. Like, I punched him in the chest, so he has damage to his chest. Also, there's a little bar here. I'll punch him again to do a little bit more damage. See? As long as you have this health mate head, which you start with as a medical personnel, you can quickly at a glance see if they're wounded or injured or not. Let me quickly talk about how to do everything. As you see here on your health analyzer, there is oxygen, toxin, burn, and brute damage. And oxygen is blue, toxin's green, burn is yellow, brute is red. That matches up with these pill bottles right here. So, bicardine is red. Bicardine is for brute damage. Dexilin is it's got blue. Dexilin's for oxygen damage. Kelotane is yellow. Kelotane is for burn damage. Dylovene is green. Dylovene's for tox damage. These ones down here are a little bit different. This is tramadol. Tramadol is a medium grade painkiller that's fairly long lasting. Think something along the lines of like a 1800 milligram Advil, and you won't be super too far off. Paradoxin. This is so you have organs inside your body. You have heart. So in your chest, you have your heart, you have your lungs, and you have your liver. Your groin, you have your kidneys. And then your head, you have your brain, your eyes. So as you get large amounts of damage in combat, you will start to take damage to these organs. And if these organs take too much damage, they will start doing periodic damage over time to you. And it can be very, very fatal very quickly. So, paradoxin will stop the negative effects of organ failure or organ damage. It doesn't heal the organ. It does not heal it. As soon as the paradoxin runs out, they will start taking the damage again. but it basically buys the person time to either do what they need to do or to get to medical help. It's very useful chem. This is Quick Clot. This is not a very useful chem. So you can also get internal bleeding. Quick Clot is supposed to stop internal bleeding, but it's not very good at its job. So give it to someone if you have nothing else that you can give them, but Quick Clot is not the best thing in the world. This is Inoprovaline. This is a revive chem. If someone is dead, you can hit them with Inoprovaline, and it will, or sorry, if someone, yeah, so if you're reviving someone or someone's unconscious on the ground and critical, you can see if they're in critical or not, because they'll be horizontal, like their sprite will be horizontal on the ground, and then their bar will be flashing red. Hit them with Inoprovaline, and it will stop them from taking oxygen damage from being unable to breathe while being unconscious and crit. Very useful. This is Dex Plus, so the difference between Dexilin and Dex Plus is that Dexilin metabolizes slowly through the body, whereas and it heals the oxygen damage slowly, whereas Dex Plus very quickly metabolizes through your body and very quickly gets rid of all the oxygen damage. This is more of a heal over time / delay oxygen damage pill, and this is a get rid of all the oxygen damage immediately. This is oxycodone, just like in real life. It's an extreme painkiller. I mean, it's called extreme painkiller. There's pluses and negatives using oxy. So there's no addiction, but so if someone has, say, a chest fracture, and we'll get on the fractures in a second, but so if someone has an unsplinted fracture, they will continue. So you give them oxy. It will let them continue moving with a lot less of the negative effects of the fracture. But the fracture will continue doing damage to their organs, and it won't tell them that they're doing that damage. And if they have organ damage already, they will not get the little notification here saying like, something in your chest hurts or something like that. So very useful, but has its ups and downs. The difference between when to use tram and when to use oxy is really a judgment call. If someone's about to do something super epic or heroic or needs to do something really important, you can always give them oxycodone. But if you just want to like give them a painkiller, give them tramadol. Now the reason you give painkillers is because there's two types of critical states in colonial marines. One is critical state from damage. Two is critical state from pain. So, this bar, or your little thing right here, will show, or is not really the truth. So, you can feel a lot worse than you actually are, and you can feel a lot better than you actually are. So, tramadol helps more, I guess, keep this in line. So, when you're actually dying, you know that you're dying. Whereas oxycodone, even if you're, very, very injured, you can feel more fine. So, again, ups and downs. It's a judgment call on when to use it, but generally give tramadol over oxycodone. Oxycodone also only comes in small units. Like, injectors only give 10 units each, per dose anyways. And it metabolizes pretty quickly through the body, whereas tramadol lasts for a long time. This is epinephrine. So when someone is dead, they don't, or chemicals don't work on dead people. So if you have someone dead who has like a bunch of brute damage, and you give them a bicardium pill, they will not heal from that bicardium pill. However, epinephrine does work in dead bodies, and we'll get onto this in a second. These are your trauma kits. So I'll quickly show you how these work. So you come over to someone, you scan them. Alright, so you see his chest is injured. I make sure the chest is targeted, and I'm on help intent. And then I click the chest, and as you see with the HUD update, it's done. They don't fully heal wounds. So trauma kits heal, I think it's something like 15 or 20. And then they stop any bleeding that was happening. External bleeding, not internal. So if he had like 60 damage, it would have healed 15 or 20 immediately and then healed a little bit more over time. It's very useful. We'll get more into how to use those a little bit better later on. But burn is the same way. Select the part of the body that has burn damages and use that. Splints, use splints like you use kits. Walk over to someone, scan them. If they had a fracture, it would say like, here is your what's it called? Is your untreated little thing. It'll quickly tell you what's wrong with them. If they had a fracture, it would say F, and so it'll have like, here, I'll show you. Punch this guy twice in the chest. So you see how it says bleeding. So it has chest, 0 burn damage, 10 damage, T for trauma because it has not been treated yet, bleeding, and it would also have F. It would have an F right here for fracture. So that's how you know when something's fractured. Splints work the same way as a kit. You just click on them. So say his chest was fractured, you select the chest and then you use it on them. It takes a second. It's very slow to splint your own body, but it's pretty quick to splint other people. And let me just use another kit. See, all good. You can always remove splints from other people, so just click on them and drag their sprite to you as long as you're standing next to them. And scroll at the bottom, remove splints. Yeah, there you go. The splints are here. And you can stack the splints together and put them back in your little belt. That is the basics of what each pill does and which each little thing that starts on your belt does. I'll quickly show you what what's it called, like how to revive people. While I'm doing this, something to note is that something to note is that pills and auto-injectors, with a few exceptions, that being Oxy and Epi, come in 15 unit increments. So each time you give someone a pill, it's coming in 15 units. Don't give someone more than 2 pills, and it takes a while for the pill to actually metabolize. I can show you the metabolizing process on myself. Also, useful tool. Right click your belt, toggle belt mode. Once you draw pills directly from the belt, so you don't have to screw around pulling the pill bottle out and whatnot. So, as you see, I get myself a pill, but it's still not showing up. There it is, finally. So, once you give a pill, it's going to take a second for it to actually show up. And then it will slowly deplete from the body. So don't give someone a bunch of pills. No one taught me this when I was new. So I think the first time I was trying to heal someone, I gave someone like 5 bicardine pills and he died from being OD'd. So don't do what I did. Just take your time. So let me kill this guy real quick so I can show you how to revive. Oh! Now I'm doing burn because burn is just easier to deal with. Okay. So these are your defibrillators. You can remove, so you can't just, so as you see what it says, you have to take the paddles out first. So the way you take the paddles off is by clicking it or using the hotkey Z. See? You can also swap hands with X, and quick equip is E. So, every time someone is dead, they will have a little box. So what the boxes mean, so there's going to be a green line that goes like this. That means they're revivable. A orange line that goes the same way as the green. That means they will be permanently dead in 1 minute if they're not revived. If someone's in that state, immediately do everything you can to revive them. You have this line right here, which means they're soulless. It's not gonna show he's soulless because he's dead, but he's an NPC, which means he's soulless. When you're actually playing the game, Marines can have this. This means do not revive. This little dash line, flat line means do not revive. So just ignore them. So in very, very rare circumstances, it could be that they're just SSD, which means like disconnected from the game. But Generally speaking, if you see this, just ignore them. And then if they have a skull right here, that means they're permanently dead. Now, before we revive, we're going to check what's wrong with him. There's a whole lot of what's called burn damage. So we're going to make sure we removed our paddles. I'm going to start defibbing, and as I'm defibbing, this hand is free. So I'm going to add I'm going to use a bunch of kits on him to try and revive him faster. So what I'm going to do, swap my hands. And you see, despite my best effort, he's still not revived. So, they need to be below, I think it's 160 damage in order to be revived, and he's at 252. Now, there's a trick to reviving people with this amount of damage. So, every time you defib, you're healing damage. And the special property of epinephrine that I was talking about earlier is that it makes each defib heal more. So, inject them with epinephrine. You can do this at the same time. See? It's going down. And there we are. He's revived. He's very injured, so he's going to die again very shortly, like that. But we have, every time someone dies, they're on a 5-minute timer. If they get defib, even if it's for a second, that timer is reset. So we have more time, and we know he can be revived on defib. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a Kelotane pill, give him an inoprovaline pill. The reason I'm giving him Kelotane is because he's got a lot of burn damage. The reason I'm giving him inoprovaline is because I don't want him taking oxygen damage as he's sitting unconscious. So, kits only work, what's it called, every so often. You can't just constantly kit someone. See, like right now, I can't just constantly kit them, so. There's not a whole lot I can do for them other than hoping that, he gets better. Now, as you see, the inoprovaline didn't just make it so there was no oxygen damage, but it makes it so that it gets, it's slowed down a lot. And as you see, slowly getting better, slowly getting better. But that's how you revive people with a lot of damage. Now, there can be lots of mixes. There can be like a huge amount of brood, huge amount of burn. You'll just have to screw around and try to figure out. A lot of the stuff is experimenting and learning by experience. See, there we are. I use backup. Once again, conscious. So, we did our job. Now the Kelotane, well, the entire time that he's alive, the Kelotane's processing, but it's pretty simple. And then we'd want to give him a tramadol pill because he just had a lot of trauma. That's the essence of reviving people and doing basic medicine. Now, for a loadout, I'm going to show you next everything in Medbay, but before I do that, I want to show you the loadout I recommend doing. So, coming here, this is your med storage area. You have a bunch of different stuff in your lockers here. You have med kits here. You have welding stuff. The welding stuff is for synths. So synthetics, obviously, they're synthetic people. They're not people. So you have to heal them with what's called welding tools. Welders heal brute damage. Oops, sorry. Grab this. Wires heal what's called burn damage on synths. They don't take toxin damage, so you don't have to worry about any of the damage types. So I would come over here, toss that out, grab yourself a what's it called, medical storage rig. Come down here. I was already screwing around with it, but I'd grab a defib, then I would grab a stasis bag, Now I would grab a health analyzer. That way you have everything you need to treat someone on you at all times. If you ever need Dex Plus or epinephrine, the same types of vendors you got your gear from, you can get epinephrine, you can get Dex Plus, Dexlin Plus right here. All your auto injectors. You can also get different pill bottles that you need right here. And yeah, pretty useful. Now stasis bags, they slow any processes going on in the body, whether it be they're hugged by a face hugger, they're in critical because of an overdose, anything like that. Now it doesn't completely stop it, it still happens, but it drastically slows it. Now, Marines hate being inside stasis bags, they fucking hate it. So only use it if you need to. And even if you really do need to, Marines will still bitch about it. But it is what it is. Alright, now that I've done that, I want to show you everything in Medbay. This is a crew monitor. It'll show you where people are, their life signs. If it's blue, that means they're on the ship. If it's red, on their position anyways, that means they're off the ship. You have your damage, you have a quick look if they're alive, unconscious, whatever. We're in lower Medbay right now. This is the lower Medbay lobby. These are the Marine vendors. As you see, they have a lot less stuff than what you have. This is the pharmacy. We'll get more into the pharmacy later, but this is where the pharmacy is. Again, storage area. These are blood vendors. These are your med vendors. A lot of the times, Marines will either ask or just outright steal these right here, because they can hack it and then they can get everything that's inside. So, if a Marine asks you, like an engineer comes up and asks if they can take it, just say yes. It's very useful to them. Then we're gonna come through here. This is just like a office area. Don't really worry about it. This is where the surgery rooms are, and where their big healing happens. So all of these are surgery rooms. There's 4 of them in total. Outside each surgery room is a sleeper and a body scanner. I can quickly show you each of these. Alright, so the way you get someone in the sleeper is on grab intent. You grab them and you click on, so with the hand selected that has them, you click on the sleeper. And then you click on the console. So what the sleeper does is its main use rather is to do dialysis. So you see occupant has chemicals remaining in the system. Say it was an OD and they're dying from an OD, you can do dialysis. And it will start rapidly draining the chemicals in their system. Now there's other ways to rapidly get rid of or rapidly purge chemicals from someone, but this is the easiest. Now, something to note is that this doesn't work if this person's dead. So if they keep constantly dying from an OD, it can be pretty tricky to deal with. But I'm gonna leave that up for you to figure out how to, or you to find out how to fix. It's always fun just to figure it out. So we're gonna come over to here, and we're gonna put in the body scan. Now we see his respiratory damage. I'm gonna scroll down and find out why. So before we do that, actually, so his brute damage, it's at 0%, respiratory, toxin, etc. Shows you everything that's wrong with him, or a lot of the stuff wrong with him rather, at a quick glance. Here it shows you his body temperature, don't really worry about that. Then his blood level, he's at 100%, so he's good to go. The various default types of chems that can be in him. And then we have a very detailed list of the damage in him. Now, you see his heart damage. This heart damage is it's organ damage because the trauma that it was caused. So that's why he's taking respiratory damage. We can click to get him out of it. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fix this respiratory damage. Now we're going to put him in the auto dock. Now this is the only way as a nurse you can do surgery, is through auto docks. then we're gonna come to here. Now he has it'll give you a quick summary of the patient. What we want to do is, because he had organ damage and that was the only thing wrong with him, we'll come down, click organ damage, then begin surgery. Now there's a lot of different options that you can go through, but only select what you need to. As you play more, you'll understand different signs. So like, the reason I knew that he had organ damage without the body scanner is because he was taking respiratory damage and there was no reason for him to take respiratory damage. And then it wasn't like a constant uptick, it was a fairly random uptick. So that means that random uptick means it's heart damage. If it's oxygen damage that keeps going up and up and up, then it is it's either lungs or it's low blood. If they're taking toxin damage, it's either they have kidney problems or they have liver problems. And those are the ways. And then they tell you they can't see or they have a pain in their head, then that's either eyes or a brain. And so that's how you can tell without a scan or advanced scanner what's wrong with them. So now that he's done his surgery, quickly put him in, do a cursory check to make sure everything's good to go, and it is. So dummy's good. These are the cryo tubes. I will show you how to set up and how to use the cryo tubes in a bit, but they rapidly heal people of different stuff. It all depends on the mixture you put inside the cryo tube. This right here is the cryo chambers. Don't get it confused with the cryo tubes. This is for people who have left the game. So a lot of the times in Medbay, you will get Marines who are just SSD. You can tell if they're SSD or not by using your scanner on them. It'll say SSD detected. SSD just means they're disconnected from the game. So you can either leave them in the lobby for a bit to see if they reconnect. That's what I usually do. And if they don't, you can just drag them over to these what's called cryo chambers and put them in. You put them in the same way you put someone in any of these. But yeah. These are the IVs. The way you get the IVs to work is always, unless you know the blood type, and like you're paying attention, you're like, oh, that'll say A+. You can do it that way, but generally for setup, because you're going to want to set up Medbay as a nurse, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. You just grab the blood pack, and you just click on it, and it'll put it in there. The way the blood pack works, or the IVs work, is you just stroll on over to the patient. You click on the IV stand and drag it onto the patient. And when you want to remove it, just click drag it off. Pretty simple. By the way, pulling hotkey is control left click. That's the hotkey to do that. Now, I'll quickly show you how to set up Medbay, or this part of Medbay. It's pretty important for this to be set up for quick use later on. You put a blood bag in each of these. Already done it. You come into here, put a blood bag in there, then you open the shutters. Now, this tells you, so the shutters being open tells the doctor that this room is open and ready. So that means that surgical table's here, this isn't being used, and yeah, it's good to go. We'll come over, and we're gonna do this for every single one. If you're a new doctor and you don't know how to make limbs, like someone loses a limb, you can make limbs in these. Each surgery room has one. But if you're a nurse, like I said, you can't do surgery. So there's an option in here for limb replacement. And that's how you're going to replace limbs as a nurse. And a lot of times it's how you do it as a doctor, because limb replacement's kind of annoying. So, coming in here. Also, you can use space cleaner, spray it on yourself, and clean yourself. And that's basically Medbay setup for as much as you're probably going to do as a nurse. Now I'll show you upper Medbay and what's going on in upper Medbay. So this is upper Medbay. You can take the ladders up or down. This is the morgue. You'll get Marines that are permanently dead. As I said earlier, you can tell if they're permanently dead because they have a skull near their head. what you do is you drag them onto like this tile, open it, and close it, and it'll show that it's occupied by having a red dot here. And that's all you know. Make sure you strip Marines of their equipment before you put them in here, because a lot of Marines really like to die with useful equipment on them still. So, down here is the autopsy room. Not really used. It's pretty rare to use it. But it's something only a doctor can use. This is the CMO's office. It's his office. This is research. You don't have access to it as a nurse, and don't really worry about it too much. If you want to learn research, just ask a researcher. And that's pretty much Medbay. Now for the last part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the chemical recipes that you're going to be using. So, it's very, very important as a doctor or as a nurse to make sure that medics are getting the stuff that they want. So, coming up to the pharmacy, and I'll quickly go over what everything is before we start. Chem Plus. There's various already made chemicals in it. If you notice, it's the same ones that will start in your belt. It's also got some useful stuff like beakers, different varieties, some pill bottles, etc. These are the Chem Dispensers. This is where you actually get your chemicals from to make stuff. And then this is the Chem Master. When there's I'll go into this more, but this is where you actually combine the stuff into bottles and put them in here, which is the smart fridge, and it's like the little medical vending machine. This is your reagent grinder. It'll grind reagents, and this is a reagent tank where you can mix large amounts of chemicals, and we'll get on this stuff later. Alright, but what we're going to do is we're going to start with some basic recipes. I'm going to teach you all the recipes for the chems that are going to be popularly asked for. Now, for some of the chems, like the one I'm about to do, I'm going to teach you 2 ways to do it. The first way is going to be the quickest way. The second way is going to be slower, but it's going to have energy saving. Now, what that means is, as you see right here, there's energy. So as you make stuff in this, the energy will deplete, and both these chem dispensers share the same energy. So if you have a lot of medics coming through, you will quickly run out of this. So if you have a lot of people that you're trying to go through, use the energy saving. If you don't, go for speed. It's all a balance between speed and energy cost, because the medics, so usually deployment time is around 21 minutes after round start, give or take. And all the medics need to be on their drop ship before they launch. You don't want them standing in line after the first drops happen. So the quicker you get through all this stuff, the quicker that you can get the medics through. But it's all a balancing game. It's all a balancing game. So what we're going to do is we're going to make imidazoline alkysine, or IA for short. What this chem does is it's basically brain surgery in a bottle. It will heal your brain, and it will heal your eyes, so you don't have to do surgery. Very useful. So what we're gonna do is let me there we go. We're gonna grab our little blue space beaker. Now the blue space beaker is nice because it has 300 unit storage. I'm gonna put our beaker in the machine, and then just click on the machine to open this up. And you see the beaker's in. So first thing, we're gonna select the 40 units. I've already done that, but select 40. And we're gonna do 40 units of nitrogen, 40 units of potassium, 40 units of silicon. This makes 120 units of Dylovene. Now, we're going to do 40 units of nitrogen, 40 units of chlorine. Now we got our alkysine, and we're going to do 80 units of carbon by pressing carbon twice, and then 80 units of hydrogen. That gives us 80 alkysine and 160 of imidazoline. and that's what we want. Now we're going to come over to this machine right here, and we're going to grab a pill. Now you can select storage units by just dragging them onto yourself, so you don't have to pick it up and to open it. Put a pill bottle in. We're going to label the pill bottle IA for imidazoline alkylcyne. Make sure whenever you're naming pills, name it what it is. You can label it IA, KD, etc., and they'll know what you're talking about. But they need to know what the pill is. So just do that. Create multiple pills. So what I did there, by the way, is oops. Let me remake that real quick. Alright, oopsies. I was trying to teach you how to do that, and I screwed up. So, what you do is, so you put this beaker in, and it'll still be in the beaker. Now, in order to make pills, you need to add it to the buffer. So you just add all this to the buffer. It's now in the buffer. Now, as you saw, what I did is I transferred it to disposals. But what you can do is you can transfer it back to the beaker if you need to. I don't want to do that. So as long as it's in the buffer, it can be manipulated here. Another thing you can do before we do that is you can select what the pills look like. Say you want all your IA pills to look like this. You can do that. You can change what your bottles look like here as well. It doesn't matter too much, but some people like to do that. Then you create multiple pills. 16, and we're going to name it IA because it's IA. And now we have our IA bottle, and we're going to do store in the smart fridge. And now we click on this, and it's in the smart fridge. And if a medic comes by, they can just vend, pick it up, and go. You can also manually put pill bottles in it just by clicking on it. Alright. Next, we're going to make... So next we're going to do IA, but the energy saving. So we're going to grab a bottle of Dylovene from this vendor right here. We're going to add 2 bottles. You can refill bottles. Injectors, anything on the vending machines they come from. So, we're going to add our 2 bottles, which gives us 120 units. Now, you notice it saves us it saves us 120 energy through here. So then we're going to do nitrogen, chlorine, carbon, carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen. I think this is what we need. Over here, pills. Add pills. Your multiple. Oh, right. Oh, oops. Alright, and now we have our IA in there. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is KD, which is Kelotane Dermaline. Let's go. So, what Kelotane Dermaline does is it rapidly heals burn damage. So, first time I'm going to show you the very quick to make version. So, carbon, carbon, so 80 units of carbon, 80 units of silicon, 40 of oxygen, and 40 of phosphorus. Gives you what you need. 120 Kelotane, 120 Dermaline. We're going to quickly do KD. Move this down to the buffer. Multiple pills. KD. Boom. Done. Very easy. Next, we're going to do Kelotane from the bottle. Now, this is the recipe for the energy saving. So we're going to add 3 total bottles, which gives us 180 Kelotane. We're going to add this to the beaker. We're going to add the beaker to this. And we're going to add 40 units of oxygen, 40 units of phosphorus. Now, if you notice, we're slightly over, the ratio is slightly over, so the way we fix this is just by dumping 20 Kelotane down here and getting rid of it by transferring to the disposals. Grab a pill bottle as well. Add label, KD, multiple pills, 16. Move to the storage fridge. Alright, next is that we're going to make TB, which is tricordazine bicardine. The purpose of TB is to rapidly heal brute damage. So we're going to grab 1 bottle. We're gonna fill this with 2 bottles of bicardine. We're gonna then fill 1 bottle of Dylovene and 1 bottle of inipropylene. Now we do this all with the bottle. There's no other way, or there's other ways to do this, but this is by far the easiest, and it takes no energy to do. So just call it TB. Move it down. Create multiple pills. 16 TB, and there are your TB pills in there. Pretty easy. Next, I'm gonna show you 2 different types of iron. So the purpose of iron, and then the other one, iron sugar, is to rapidly regenerate blood in a person. So you can tell them to eat, and then you can give them iron sugar, and it'll get their blood filled up pretty quick. So just iron is 240 units of iron. All right, now I'm not going to make this with a pill bottle, and I'm gonna show you how to fix if you accidentally make this without pills or without a pill bottle loaded. So create multiple pills. 16 iron 15. And oh no, all my iron pills are now just here. What you can do, grab a bottle, and then click on it. Boom, they're all in there. Now, like I said, you don't want unlabeled or pill bottles laying around or in there. So grab your hand labeler, press Z to activate it, and then just name it iron. And then click on it and label it, and then press Z again to turn it off. Boom, it's done. Grab my beaker. Now I'm going to show you iron sugar. It's 120 units of iron and 120 units of sugar. Very quick, very easy. You just add IS, boom, done. Alright, now as you see, I have no more pills in here. So I'm going to pick up the pill bottle box, I'm going to press Z on it, which folds it and basically deletes it. So there's a number of other pill bottles here, or pill bottle boxes. There's 2 more. There's what? How many more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more here, and there's some more in the medical storage. Now the way I could see what's on this tile is I just alt-clicked it. And if you want to like quickly see what someone has or a description of something, shift click. Alright, yeah. So I'm going to show you epinephrine now. Epinephrine, it's not asked for too much, but something to note for epi, never, and I mean never, make pills out of it. It doesn't work. You just don't do it. You just don't. So we're gonna add 120 units of carbon, 120 units of nitrogen, and then 120 units of oxygen. This makes you 4 bottles worth of epinephrine. You can scale this recipe up or down, but generally speaking, 4 bottles is more than enough for the entire round. So we're going to do store bottle in the fridge, and each bottle is 60 units, so that makes you 4 bottles. And as you see, there's an epinephrine bottle, and that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to teach you Dex Plus. This isn't asked for a whole lot, but sometimes it's asked for. So we're gonna add 40 units of iron, 40 units of carbon. Or sorry, 60 units of each. So carbon, iron. We're gonna go into here, grab our Dex bottle. Mix the Dex bottle in. Come over to here, grab ourselves a pill bottle. Labels the pill, Dex Plus. Move this down, create multiple pills, Dex Plus. The unit count's a little bit rough on Dex Plus, but it doesn't matter a whole lot. It depletes the system super quick, and that'll pretty much do everything they need to do it. Now I'm going to show you how to actually set up those cryo tubes. This is pretty much all you need to know for making pills for medics. This stuff is more so what doctors are gonna do, but if a doctor doesn't do it, you need to do it as a nurse. So grab a Phoron. You can do it by separating your hands and then adding one over. Not that hard. Put one in. I already have. grind the reagents. Attach the beaker. And we're going to come over to here. We're going to add 30 units of, we're going to add 60 units of water, 60 units of oxygen. Grab our Dexilin bottle, refill it, put it back in there. And now, as you see, we have 180 units of cryoxidon. We're going to come over to here. We're going to click on, or with this in our hand, we're going to click on this to add this. It'll transfer 10, it's called pour on over. Put this back in. We're going to add 80 units of sodium. And then we're going to get rid of 10 units here. All the Phoron. And then 70 units here. So that we have 90 units of cryoxidon and 90 units of clonoxidon. So while this is here, if you eject the beaker, it'll clear the, it's called the buffer. So we'll just get rid of that like that. We're going to grab 3 small beakers. You can't really see them because, I don't know, it's put there in a kind of funny way. But there's 3 small beakers here, as you see. And we're going to right-click this. So transfer amount to 60, just to make this easier, so we can click this in one at a time. And we're going to grab them. Head on down to the cryo tubes. We're going to insert them into each of the cells. And we're going to turn them on. And that'll pretty much be good for the whole round. I've never seen these beakers run out before. They do slowly drain, but very slowly. Here, I'll show you how they work here in a second. Where is the little tablet for a guy here? But these things, that mixture will heal basically everything. It will heal internal bleeding, it'll heal cancer. And the way you see if someone has cancer or not is use your health analyzer and it'll say has been improperly cloned. And they will take unhealable damage over time. However, this cures them and cures them of that effect, and it will heal the damage that was done. So, let me do this real quick. Just burn damage, left hand. I don't know, 30. Right foot, 30. Root damage. We'll give him groin damage for 30. So he's pretty screwed up. I don't want to use my kits because I'm lazy. I'm just gonna drag him on over. And before I do, does he have? Yeah, so he has bleeding. You can also get internal bleeding and stuff, but I didn't do that, so whatever. Then we put him in, and as you see, it's very quickly going down. This heals everything: respiratory damage, toxin damage, burn damage, and brute damage. It won't heal their organs. It will not heal their organs, so you'll still have to deal with that. And it does not purge chemicals from their system. Alright. It's done. So you can either inject him when he's done, or he will automatically inject, and then shake him awake. Shake him awake. Doesn't want to wake up. Usually they'll wake up quicker than that, but I don't want to spend any more time shaking him. Moving on to here. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to make Unga juice. Now, everyone has their own Unga juice. Everyone's got their own Unga juice. What I'm going to show you is one that doesn't take a lot of energy to make. You can make it in like a minute and a half when you really learn how to do it. And it has everything they want. So, if the Marines don't get Unga juice, I have seen Marines just line up here and refuse to deploy until the doctor made them Unga juice. So, knowing how to do it's a good thing. So we're going to transfer amount 60, transfer direction so that I can start filling it up. We're going to add 2 bottles of bicarbonate. 1, 2, giving us a total of 120 units. The way I can check and see how much is in it is just by inspecting it. You can right click, examine, or you can shift click, which is what I'm doing. Then 120 units of Kelotane. 120 units of Kelotane. 1 bottle of Dylovene, which is 60 units. 1 bottle of propylene. So now we have 120 units of tricardazine. And then I'm going to grab my beacon that I left over here. Come over down to here. We're gonna add 40 units of oxygen, 40 units of phosphorus. We'll transfer all of that into there. And so now we have 120 units of dermaline and 80 units of Kelotane. Then I'm going to add my oxycodone bottles. I'm going to add 10 oxycodone bottles into this. Each oxycodone bottle, it's only 10 units, so I'm adding 100 total. 90. Alright. Did not add. So there's a weird click delay when you're adding bottles and stuff. But that's basically it. It's a pretty quick and pretty simple thing. You can add more Kelotane if you really wanted to. You could be like bam, bam. But generally I don't. It's better to have less Kelotane and more dermaline, since it's less likely for Marines to be OD'd on dermaline. And then once you're done with this, you just drag it on down, and you push into the center, and Marines will come up with flask and fill it from here. Also make sure to do dispensing, or transfer direction to dispensing. And then generally Marines will use all of this, so you might have to make another batch. And then they'll also take this and bring it onto the shuttle with them. If you need another reagent tank, you can ask research to give you some, or you can come down into maintenance this way. This is gonna be a pain in the ass. Yeah, I'll do upper mains. I think it'll be easier. And you can come up this way. If I remember where it is. Right here. Yep. There's another one here, and then mirrored on the south or southern mains, there's another one there. So if you need another one, that's where you can find them. But that is pretty much everything you need to know for making chems, treating people, and just doing or setting up medbay and setting up yourself. That's everything you need to know as a nurse and to get you on your feet. There's other stuff to learn, purge kits, etc. But you can figure that out on your own, trial and error. Just make sure you don't blow yourself up. If you ever need any help, you can always press F1 and do mentor help, and then submit a mentor request. You can also just ask people around. A lot of people played a lot of roles, and a lot of people played CM for a very long time, know what they're doing. So, just feel free to go around and ask. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.